Welcome. Well, you're at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family. And we are delighted that you have welcomed us into your home. We certainly would love to hear from you. So today, we would like to take your questions or your comments. If you're watching, it's Monday, and we are live. Please give us a jingle at 1-800-221-9460. If you are calling and you are outside North America, you can reach us at area code 205-271-2980. And you can always send us an email with a question or a comment to jimandjoy@ewtn.com, and check us out on Facebook. Well, the question that we put out there this week was, what do pregnancy help centers offer to women who are abortion vulnerable or experiencing pregnancy loss through abortion? And so we got many responses, and the deal is I had the privilege of going with 3 of my staff people to Heartbeat International Conference, which was their 51st conference. And we were in Jacksonville, Florida. I brought my nurse and 2 of my client advocates along with me. And we all went on different tracks to learn different things. We had a changeover with our nurse manager. So she, she's a newbie to the center, and so she had a lot to learn with her education units that she picked up. So she stayed on the medical track, and I went on the round table for working with the Jackson Dobbs post row. What's going to happen to your center? What's your center going to look like? I mean, people came from all over the world.
It's a great work that Heartbeat International does, which is kind of mobilizing, networking thousands of pregnancy help centers. What's a pregnancy help center? What goes on inside of there? That's why we want you to call. Maybe you've been in there. Maybe you work in a pregnancy help center. Maybe you know Heartbeat International. We want to share with others the great work that's going on there, the work of life. And Joy, there were so many tracks. What was it called? What was the name of the conference again?
Onward.
And so there's so much happening with life, and the Dobbs decision is going to be coming down. Is it going back to the states deciding about abortion or not? So they had so many tracks, like the abortion-minded caller. Who would think of that? When you get the call, who's the person taking the call? You got somebody that says, I want an abortion. What do you do? How do you speak to them? What do you share? They deal with sexually transmitted infections. Is that a part of the Pregnancy Help Center? We're dealing with pregnancy help centers that might be post-row. What does that mean? We're seeing chemical abortions rise, surgical abortions going down, abortion pill reversal is used, on and on and on. And human...
sex trafficking.
Yep, sex trafficking.
And housing, maternity homes. I mean, the scope is wide and so beautiful, because it's not like a girl's coming into the pregnancy help center and being in an unplanned pregnancy that's just one crisis she's dealing with. Usually, it's a little bit more complicated than that.
It could be housing needs, everything else.
Everything.
But Heartbeat International deals with all of those subjects, all of those areas, best practices, where are we now? And so, but we want to hear from you. Are you familiar with pregnancy help centers? How have you been helped by one? How do they help women in crisis pregnancy or post-abortion healing? What do help centers offer to women who are abortion vulnerable or experiencing pregnancy loss through abortion? 1-800-221-9460 is our number here. So we want to hear from you, or you can email us, or anything you want to share about pregnancy help centers. Tens of thousands of people are working to save as many lives as they could possibly save, to heal as many people that have been involved with abortion, that all together we might build a new culture of life and marriage and the family. There's plenty more to come. It's a very special show today. We want to hear from you. 1-800-221-9460. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
remember that today we're taking your questions and comments on our show. So if you're watching and you have a thought, a comment, a question that you want to share, please give us a jingle at 1-800-221-9460. If you are calling and you are outside North America, you can reach us at 205-271-2980. You can always send us an email with a question or a comment to jimandjoy@ewtn.com. Well, the question that we put out there is, what do pregnancy help centers offer to women who are abortion vulnerable or experiencing pregnancy loss through abortion? And we know that Heartbeat International does so much to equip, empower pregnancy help centers throughout the country.
And throughout the world.
And throughout the world. And we have on the phone Jorel Godsey, who is the president of Heartbeat International. And we invite you all to go out to heartbeatinternational.org. Well, Jorel, we welcome you to At Home with Jim and Joy. And I know you had a very, very full week. And I'm sure you recovered over the weekend. But tell our family the importance, well, first tell them a little bit the history of Heartbeat and the importance of the pregnancy help ministry throughout the world.
Well, thank you, Jim and Joy. It's a pleasure to talk to you. I was grateful to see you as well in Jacksonville, Joy, and sorry I missed seeing you there, Jim, but glad to be with you on the call today. Heartbeat International really was called into existence by the very earliest members of the pregnancy help community, which really dates back to the late 60s and very early 70s. And so our official launch date was in 1971. And so we are now in our 51st year of working with the pregnancy help community everywhere they are, which of course is across the U.S., which has the largest network of pregnancy help locations, and then around the globe as well. And we're now in 83 different countries. So it's an adventure wherever it happens. But the number one thing that women need really is the opportunity and the option to pursue something other than abortion. And truthfully, you know this, both of you do, that the very best alternative to abortion is another person. And so that really comes in the form of every individual that is a part of the pregnancy help movement that is serving in the center. And of course, that includes compassionate counselors and coaches. That includes nurses who are providing ultrasound, as well as sonographers who are there to provide the power of ultrasound to help them see their own babies and make an informed decision. She doesn't ever really want abortion. She always feels pushed towards abortion or sometimes trapped in that decision. And that's exactly what pregnancy help centers are there to do, is to help kind of release her from the bondage of that kind of decision and let her see that vision and value for where she can go that does not involve taking the life of her child.
Well, Jorel, things have advanced so much in the pro-life movement and pregnancy help centers by the thousands now in the United States of America alone. You mentioned what a woman needs who's experiencing a vulnerable situation regarding a pregnancy is opportunity. Opportunity. We always say at our center, if we could have the conversation, we win it about 80% of the time. 20% of the times we don't is very tragic, but we invite people to come back if they do have an abortion, to share further, to get healing. Speak to us about the opportunity that Heartbeat International gives for people throughout the country to hear, to have the opportunity, because while we've advanced in many ways, I still think the vast majority of people that might be in a crisis pregnancy don't know where to turn or what to do. And like you said, maybe it's an individual that could speak to somebody. What do we need to know to plug people into where help is right where they are?
Well, thanks for that question, because most people aren't walking around with the knowledge about where do I go if I'm facing an unplanned pregnancy. And the specialists in this movement are the ones who are in pregnancy help centers or pregnancy help organizations, and they're all around. The problem is we don't often think that they're around because we're not in that particular need at that particular moment, and then suddenly when we are, we're not walking around with that knowledge. You know, unfortunately, the likes of Planned Parenthood, who receives $500 million from the government to advertise that. We don't have the benefit of that. So we have a local community answers, which are the pregnancy help organizations that are there. They're doing their own marketing. They're trying to reach her in that time of need. But overall, we have optionline.org, which is really serving the entire country. So if the local marketing doesn't catch them, then we pray, of course, that the national marketing that we do at OptionLine will catch them. And then our goal is simply to answer that phone when they call, and and it's not just phone, by the way, it's now chat and text and email. But when we get that call, and we can talk to her, and however we can communicate her, we're going to answer her question, and then we're going to refer her and connect her back to that local pregnancy help that's right in her area. So if there's one thing everyone should know, it's optionline.org, or 800-712-HELP is our number. And we get 1,000 of those every single day that we're able to talk to and refer them into their local community pregnancy help, where they can be served and they can get the greater service that they really need, that connectivity and that relationship to help show them that they can do this. That's often really what they truly need, is someone to believe in them and say, you can do this. We know, of course, that the God of the universe has empowered her to do this. I mean, he's done that from the foundation of the earth. We know that God himself is involved with the situation, but she doesn't know that. And then she often will learn and come to learn that through God's people who are speaking those things, love and compassion and care and opportunity, into her life.
Well, Jarrell, and I know the benefit of going to the conference, and the theme this year was called Onward. And I want you to know that as I've come back home and I'm at the center today, I was there early this morning, there's a greater awareness of being sent. And so I thank you for that, and I hope and pray that all of the other centers and the directors and everyone that was there, all the people who volunteer or work at pregnancy help centers, there was a mission of being sent to go back out, and we have to go forward because we have a very big case that's coming up. And hopefully a decision that's going to come down the end of June. Tell our family what we need to be hopeful for.
Well, we need to be hopeful that the Supreme Court of the United States will move Roe versus Wade. Of course, that's the ruling that basically made abortion a so-called right, in the Constitution. We need the Supreme Court to move that closer to the same place that the ruling on slavery did. That was 150, 60 years ago. That was the wrong ruling. Roe itself was a wrong ruling, and so we need to move them at least closer to that. And of course, we would all celebrate if they finally realize that this simply can no longer stand in our country, and allow each state then to speak to it the way that they have been elected. The representatives have been elected to do that. But for the pregnancy help community, for us, it's going to mean that, at least in the short term, that there are going to be a lot of people who have been depending on abortion as a backstop. Maybe they haven't done everything the way that they should have, and then they're going to find themselves in a very difficult place if the courts move this at all. And of course, everybody believes that they're going to move it in our favor. Just the question is how far. But there will be a number of women who will kind of be caught in the middle of that as these things are shifting, and that is going to create a tremendous environment for pregnancy help in those months that follow, and all the confusion and chaos. We learned that from Texas. The heartbeat bill in Texas created a lot of confusion for women who were pregnant and around the time of their heartbeat or afterwards, and that was an opportunity for pregnancy health centers to step up. And many of them saw a huge increase in their clients, of course, unfortunately. So did the abortion clinics in the neighboring states. But that shows us that we are going to be necessary and needed all the more when the court shifts the conversation and shifts the dynamics, and particularly for these women who are pregnant now or will be finding out that they're pregnant as maybe the month of June is unfolding. They will be in a very different position than what they envisioned themselves because of the fact that we've now lived with abortion on demand in our country for 2 or 3 generations.
Well, Jarrell, thank you so much for the great work of Heartbeat International. The word that keeps coming to me again and again now is avalanche. Especially if this is turned back to the States, it's going to be an avalanche of people that are going to be rethinking this whole thing again, especially women. Going to be thinking about post-abortion healing. How are we going to reach them? How will they hear about us, especially through Heartbeat? Different ways that we're going to have to be working in help centers. So you're at the cutting edge of this because you're at the macro kind of level. They're not going to be calling necessarily one crisis pregnancy center, but they'll be calling Option Line and other means by which we try to connect them with the help, the healing, the life that is needed. So God bless you, and may people support your great work. Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much, Jim. Appreciate you, Joy. Glad you could join us.
Love you. Bless you.
Well, so again, we just want to underline, and you could give us a phone call if you want to share about pregnancy help centers. We'd like to hear from you. But again, Heartbeat International is not one help center. I mean, they're networking all of the centers, many thousands of centers. And they're dealing with the issue of how, not just how people find out about Heart Choice Birmingham Women's Center, but all throughout the country. And there's going to be an avalanche of need, of rethinking of abortion, of people who want help. The issue is, how do they find it out? That's why you need to be equipped. He said most people will hear individually.
Right.
And you need to know optionline.org, optionline.org. When you go to that site, if you put in your zip code, it will give you the help centers all throughout the country in different parts of the world. And that's what you need, because suddenly it comes upon you. You've got somebody in the family or a cousin or a friend, and they're saying, well, they're in another state, they're thinking about abortion. What do we do? Who do we call? What happens? Optionline.org, and you just put in your zip code, and you'll find 1, 2, 3 in that city where you are. But there's going to be, seems like, more need than ever before, and we can't just be going, I don't know.
Right.
We're trying to give you resources so that you can be Johnny on the spot.
Right.
Because it can mean the difference between life and death.
Well, and also the other thing is that the law is a teacher. So if we as a nation decide that that decision, Roe versus Wade, was a wrong decision, we're going to take it back to the states. What about the people who, under the law, chose to have an abortion? And we had Lisa Rowe on our show, Support After Abortion, where it's like, now what do I do? Now, wait a minute, you're telling me that was wrong? Yeah. Was that a wrong decision? Now, where am I going to go to get help and healing?
Yeah.
And pregnancy help centers provide that. Most pregnancy help centers do that, or they're going to refer you to a place where you can go. And here in Alabama, we have Abortion Recovery Alabama. Most states have something, but then there's just so many contacts and ways that we need to get the word out so you can say, hey, wait a minute. This isn't the end of the story. Yeah. God is in charge, and you're going to get through this time. Yes, you might be scared. Yes, he may have abandoned you, but no, it is more natural to have a baby. It is unnatural to have an abortion. And so we want to fortify, strengthen, rescue, renew, and to say to the women, come in our doors. Our doors are open. We are here to help you. And we, as a pro-life people who we say we are, we have to be there, not just with our time. We have to be there with our money, because if a girl does the abortion pill, we have to work with her on the abortion pill reversal. That costs money for the centers, ways that you can support your local pregnancy resource center to say, how are you involved in the abortion pill reversal? And if a girl takes that pill because they are passing it out as aspirin, God help us.
Let's take this comment. I pray that I'm assuming it's help centers, that they offer counseling to give women an alternative in their decision. Ask what they fear and to pray for them and their decisions. We are all sinners led astray, but through the grace of God, saved. Rosa on Facebook. I like what she underlines. Somebody comes to you, listen.
Yes.
Listen, offer. And that's part of the approach that we take. The key is listening, land the plane of life where you need to land it. What are the key concerns going on here? Land the plane, let them know there's total support all around them. You're not alone in this. And if a woman knows that she's not alone, she's in a crisis pregnancy, she's in a panic about that, it says that if one person stands with her and is with her, the likelihood changes dramatically that she would ever have an abortion. She just needs to know that there's somebody there.
Right.
And Joy, you mentioned, I want to go back just for a minute, the abortion pill reversal. We say this like so easily, but so many people don't understand that now most abortions are going to chemical and not surgical.
Right.
And that there's a whole protocol that if you've taken the first pill, that there's help immediately for you to reverse this,
Right.
that the baby doesn't have to be aborted within you. And so that's going to be a big move. More and more doctors are doing this now. But that's one of the things that help centers offer. There's real regret once they do that. What do I do now? Well, they need to know that you can reverse that.
Right. And you can go to optionline.org, where Heartbeat International has been successful in saving 3,500 women and babies from the choice that they made when they took that first pill. And they go and we're all connected with doctors, and you get to take progesterone, which supplements the baby so the baby can live. And Dr. Delgado, Dr.
Yeah.
George Delgado, who EWTN one time, he shared the stage in San Francisco and was able to tell his story. He was also on News in Depth the other night too. So
It's just incredible, all that's going on in the help centers. They need your support, they need your help financially, they need you to volunteer, and they need you to be an advocate. And sometimes it helps just right away to give an answer for the hope that's in you for a person who's had an abortion or who's considering abortion. Plenty more to come. We'll be right back. Please don't go away.
welcome back. We're at home with Jim and Joy, and just want to, wrap up about the Heartbeat International organization, what they do. So they served 1.5 million clients, the whole organization. 300,000 mothers of Heartbeat chose life. Nearly 2,500,000 free ultrasounds were performed. 250,000 ultrasounds were performed, and Heartbeat is connected to 2,800 affiliates all over the world. So there were little centers, there were big centers in rural areas, in big cities. We had our friend Chris Slattery, who manages, I think it's like 4 or 5 abortion
Manhattan, Brooklyn,
pregnancy help centers right in the heartbeat of New York, where abortion clinics are. And, so it doesn't matter if it's large or small, it's one baby. You can be that one voice to say, wait a minute, is this the best we can do? Surely there's another way we can do this. Surely our family can rally around you. It just takes one person to speak hope and to reverse the forces of hell and death and darkness. And God is always asking you and me, will you be the voice for the voiceless? Can you offer someone hope? And maybe you're out there and you said, well, you know what? I had an abortion years ago. Maybe you did. Maybe you made that choice. God still loves you. He wants to heal you, restore you, and renew you. Don't go to your deathbed with that on you. Confess that. Get that out. Be healed. Be restored, that you would know that you are forgiven and set free, and surrender that secret to God.
And as St. John Paul II said to those who've experienced abortion personally, who are involved, men and women alike, that you could be forgiven and you could become one of the most eloquent spokespersons on behalf of life, because those who are forgiven much love much. You'll never say, I can't see how anybody would have an abortion, because we were directly involved in it. So we can see how it happens. So not only does the Lord want to heal you, forgive you, and renew you, He may very well use you as a mouthpiece of mercy to somebody else. Just remember that optionline.org. Maybe go there, just check it out before you need it in a crisis. And just put in a zip code, because that, again, will get you post-abortion healing, help a girl in crisis pregnancy. You'll know where the help centers are in your community, so you know, so that if you're conversing with somebody, you have all this help available to you. You're not alone to help someone. And they have all the resources that you need to encourage someone that thinks this is insurmountable. But it is surmountable. And with the Lord, all things are possible. Life, marriage, the family, Christ, forgiveness, especially in this last week before Holy Week. Life will prevail, as life is greater than death. Jesus will have the final word, the Lord of mercy, the face of mercy. It's great to be with you this day and all together to build a new culture of life, marriage, and the family. Keep it on EWTN. God bless you and all of your loved ones. Bye now.